everybody, Justin here from Budget BBQ. Thank you so much for tuning in for another video. Today we're going to do a little redo of my original baked bean video. So the basics of this recipe originated with another barbecue channel that a lot of us are familiar with these days called T-Roy Cooks. This was a video he did, quite a long time ago, kind of giving homage to his mom, who's, as he refers to her, Mama Jean, and her baked beans. So I've kind of evolved the recipe kind of into my own a little bit. The base is and where I kind of started with this would be from watching his video and kind of getting inspired by that particular recipe. But again, I've kind of evolved it over time, so you'll kind of see some little twists to that. But again, I always like to give credit where it's due. So Mama Jean, T-Roy, I thank you so much for the base of this recipe here. I hope I do you proud in what you see, the changes having been made. So let's head into the kitchen and check out the new improved recipe. All right, everybody. So here we are in the kitchen, getting ready to get started on the baked beans here. So as you can see, these are kind of all the ingredients we're going to be using today. I am making a bigger batch of these because we're actually taking these to an event later today. So I am doing a kind of a bigger than normal batch. As you always know with me, always using my cast iron here. So we got my cast iron pot going. We got some bacon started in there. And then towards the back here, you can see we have some green onions. We have some Worcestershire sauce, some molasses, brown sugar, some barbecue rub, a little bit of barbecue sauce. Definitely not my favorite barbecue sauce, but it does seem to work really well in the beans. My little addition to Mama Jean's baked beans, as always, a little bit of my pulled pork. And then over here we have the beans themselves. So all we're doing now here is we're just getting this, the bacon cooked off here. Really important to get the bacon crispy, not soggy, limpy bacon. We want good, crispy bacon for these beans. So we're going to get this crisped up, and then I'll bring you all back, and we'll take on to the next step. All right, folks. So our next step here is we're going to add our green onions, which I've already done here. And we're just going to let these saute off a little bit, get some of that flavor extracted out of there. And then the next step we'll come back to here in just a moment. I just wanted to kind of give you a little info here. I know you're probably seeing a lot of the steam and stuff coming off the pot here. It's actually pretty kind of a cool morning here. And we do have the windows open here in the house just for that crispy, fresh air. So a little extra steam than probably would normally be showing here. But we're going to keep sauteing these green onions up. We'll be right back. All right, folks. So the next thing I like to do in this process actually is go ahead and get my pulled pork or my chopped up pork into the mix here. And just kind of get that warming up a little bit. Get some of those flavors coming out of there as well. Next thing we're going to do after this is go ahead and add our can of beans. And then we're going to start adding our other ingredients. We'll be right back. Alright, folks. Well, we kind of had to hit the fast forward button a little bit here, and I do apologize for that. But once I added the beans, everything kind of started to heat up fairly quick. So I needed to kind of get everything else in there. But just want to kind of run down the ingredients here. So we did about a half a cup to between a half and a 3/4 cup of the barbecue sauce. We did about a 3/4 cup of the brown sugar. I did probably about a 1/4 cup to a half a cup of molasses. Literally did about 6 shakes of the Worcestershire sauce. And we just did a little bit of the rub to taste. Okay. So one other little trick, or one thing that I like to do when I'm making these beans, especially with the canned, like Bush's beans, is I drain a good portion of the liquid out of the can of beans. And here's my reason for that. As you can see, these are, fairly, still have some good liquid consistency to them. But the reason I do that is because we are adding other things that are going to be liquid into the beans. So if we kept all the liquid from the can, and then we're adding Worcestershire, molasses, barbecue sauce, when the brown sugar melts down, it's just going to be, in my opinion, too much liquid. I really like these to kind of be like stick to your ribs beans, kind of have a nice hearty thickness where they really kind of stick to the spoon when you eat them. These are really kind of a meal in a pot, in my opinion, kind of the way I do them. So But anyway, you know, just really beautiful look and color, as you can see here. Got a nice, you can really see those chunks of bacon and the green onion. Nice light seasoning there. So really excited for a taste test here in a little bit. So we're going to let these go for a little bit. I'm going to get these just up to a simmer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put the lid on them and just put them into the oven on a really low temperature. And we're just going to let those go. We're actually going to be going across the street for church a little bit later this morning. So we'll pick back up after church, and I'll kind of let you see what they look like after they've kind of baked off at that slow temp in the oven for a while. So stick around. We'll be back in a little while.